Who is Nisargadatta Maharaj? When asked about the date of his birth, the master replied blandly that he was never born. Writing a biographical note on Shri Nisargadatta Maharaj is a frustrating and unrewarding task, for not only the exact date of his birth is unknown, but no verified facts concerning the early years of his life are available. However, some of his elderly relatives and friends say that he was born in the month of March 1897 on a full moon day, which coincided with the festival of Hanuman Jayanti, when Hindus pay their homage to Hanuman, also named Maruti, the monkey god of Ramayana fame. And to associate his birth with this auspicious day, his parents named him Maruti. Available information about his boyhood and early youth is patchy and disconnected. We learn that his father, Shiv Rampant, was a poor man who worked for some time as a domestic servant in Bombay and later eked out his livelihood as a petty farmer at Kandalgaon, a small village in the backwoods of Ratnagiri district of Maharashtra. Maruti grew up almost without education. As a boy, he assisted his father in such labors as lay within his power, tended cattle, drove oxen, worked in the fields, and ran errands. His pleasures were simple as his labors, but he was gifted with an inquisitive mind, bubbling over with questions of all sorts. His father had a Brahmin friend named Vishnu Haribhau Gore, who was a pious man, learned too by rural standards. Gore often talked about religious topics, and the boy Maruti listened attentively and dwelt on these topics far more than anyone would suppose. Gore was for him the ideal man, earnest, kind, and wise. When Maruti attained the age of 18, his father died, leaving behind his widow, 4 sons, and 2 daughters. The meagre income from the small farm dwindled further after the old man's death and was not sufficient to feed so many mouths. Maruti's elder brother left the village for Bombay in search of work, and he followed shortly after. It is said that in Bombay he worked for a few months as a low-paid junior clerk in an office, but resigned the job in disgust. He then took to petty trading as a haberdasher and started a shop for selling children's clothes, tobacco, and handmade country cigarettes. This business is said to have flourished in course of time, giving him some sort of financial security. During this period, he got married and had a son and 3 daughters. Childhood, youth, marriage, progeny. Maruti lived the usual humdrum and eventless life of a common man till his middle age, with no inkling at all of the sainthood that was to follow. Among his friends during this period was one Yashwantrao Bakhkar, who was a devotee of Shri Siddharameshwar Maharaj, a spiritual teacher of the Navnath Sampradaya, a sect of Hinduism. One evening, Bakhkar took Maruti to his guru, and that evening proved to be the turning point in his life. The guru gave him a mantra and instructions in meditation. Early in his practice, he started having visions and occasionally even fell into trances. Something exploded within him, as it were, giving birth to a cosmic consciousness, a sense of eternal life. The identity of Maruti, the petty shopkeeper, dissolved, and the illuminating personality, Shri Nisargadatta, emerged. Most people live in the world of self-consciousness and do not have the desire or power to leave it. They exist only for themselves. All their effort is directed towards achievement of self-satisfaction and self-glorification. There are, however, seers, teachers, and revealers who, while apparently living in the same world, live simultaneously in another world also, the world of cosmic consciousness, effulgent with infinite knowledge. After his illuminating experience, Shri Nisargadatta Maharaj started living such a dual life. He conducted his shop but ceased to be a profit-minded merchant. Later, abandoning his family and business, he became a mendicant, a pilgrim over the vastness and variety of the Indian religious scene. He walked barefooted on his way to the Himalayas, where he planned to pass the rest of his years in quest of an eternal life. But he soon retraced his steps and came back home, comprehending the futility of such a quest. Eternal life, he perceived, was not to be sought for. He already had it. Having gone beyond the I am the body idea, he had acquired a mental state so joyful, peaceful, and glorious that everything appeared to be worthless compared to it. He had attained self-realization. Uneducated though the master is, his conversation is enlightened to an extraordinary degree. Though born and brought up in poverty, he is the richest of the rich, for he has the limitless wealth of perennial knowledge, compared to which the most fabulous treasures are mere tinsel. He is warm-hearted and tender, shrewdly humorous, absolutely fearless, and absolutely true, inspiring, guiding, and supporting all who come to him. Any attempt to write a biographical note on such a man is frivolous and futile, for he is not a man with a past or future. He is the living present, eternal and immutable. He is the self that has become all things. Translator's note by Maurice Frydman, Bombay, October 16, 1973. I met Shri Nisargadatta Maharaj some years back and was impressed with the spontaneous simplicity of his appearance and behavior, and his deep and genuine earnestness in expounding his experience. However humble and difficult to discover his little tenement in the back lanes of Bombay, many have found their way there. Most of them are Indians, conversing freely in their native language, but there were also many foreigners who needed a translator. Whenever I was present, the task would fall to me. Many of the questions put and answers given were so interesting and significant that a tape recorder was brought in. While most of the tapes were of the regular Marathi English variety, some were polyglot scrambles of several Indian and European languages. Later, each tape was deciphered and translated into English. It was not easy to translate verbatim and at the same time avoid tedious repetitions and reiterations. It is hoped that the present translation of the tape recordings will not reduce the impact of this clear-minded, generous, and in many ways an unusual human being. A Marathi version of these talks, verified by Shri Nisargadatta Maharaj himself, has been separately published. Chapter 1. The Sense of I Am. Questioner. It is a matter of daily experience that on waking up the world suddenly appears. Where does it come from? Maharaj. Before anything can come into being, there must be somebody to whom it comes. All appearance and disappearance presupposes a change against some changeless background. Questioner. Before waking up, I was unconscious. Maharaj. In what sense? Having forgotten or not having experienced? Don't you experience even when unconscious? Can you exist without knowing? A lapse in memory, is it a proof of non-existence? And can you validly talk about your own non-existence as an actual experience? You cannot even say that your mind did not exist. Did you not wake up on being called? And on waking up, was it not the sense, I am, that came first? Some seed consciousness must be existing, even during sleep or swoon. On waking up, the experience runs, I am, the body, in the world. It may appear to arise in succession, but in fact it is all simultaneous. A single idea of having a body in a world. Can there be the sense of I am without being somebody or other? Questioner. I'm always somebody with its memories and habits. I know no other I am. Maharaj. Maybe something prevents you from knowing. When you do not know something which others know, what do? Questioner. I seek the source of their knowledge under their instruction. Maharaj. Is it not important to you to know whether you are a mere body or something else? Or maybe nothing at all? Don't you see that all your problems are your body's problems? Food, clothing, shelter, family, friends, name, fame, security, survival. All these things lose their meaning the moment you realize that you may not be a mere body. Questioner. What benefit is there in knowing that I am not the body? Maharaj. Even to say that you are not the body is not quite true. In a way, you are all the bodies, hearts, and minds, and much more. Go deep into the sense of I am, and you will find. How do you find a thing you have mislaid or forgotten? You keep it in your mind until you recall it. The sense of being, of I am, is the first to emerge. Ask yourself whence it comes, or just watch it quietly. When the mind stays in the I am, without moving, you enter a state which cannot be verbalized but which can be experienced. All you need to do is to try and try again. After all, the sense, I am, is always with you. Only you have attached all kinds of things to it. Body, feelings, thoughts, ideas, possessions, and so on. All these self-identifications are misleading. Because of them, you take yourself to be what you are not. Questioner. Then what am I? Maharaj. It is enough to know what you are not. You need not know what you are. For, as long as knowledge means description in terms of what is already known, perceptual or conceptual, there can be no such thing as self-knowledge. For what you are cannot be described, except as total negation. All you can say is, I am not this, I am not that. You cannot meaningfully say, this is what I am. It just makes no sense. What you can point out as this or that cannot be yourself. Surely, you cannot be something else. You are nothing, perceivable or imaginable. Yet, without you, there can be neither perception nor imagination. You observe the heart feeling, the mind thinking, the body acting. The very act of perceiving shows that you are not what you perceive. Can there be perception, experience, without you? An experience must belong. Somebody must come and declare it as his own. Without an experiencer, the experience is not real. Is it the experiencer that imparts reality to experience? An experience which you cannot have, of what value is it to you? Questioner. The sense of being an experiencer, the sense of I am, is it not also an experience? Maharaj. Obviously, everything experienced is an experience, and in every experience there arises the experiencer of it. Memory creates the illusion of continuity. In reality, each experience has its own experiencer, and the sense of identity is due to the common factor at the root of all experiencer-experience relations. Identity and continuity are not the same. Just as each flower has its own color, but all colors are caused by the same light, so do many experiences appear in the undivided and indivisible awareness, each separate in memory, identical in essence. This essence is the root, the foundation, the timeless and spaceless possibility of all experience. Questioner. How do I get at it? Maharaj. You need not get at it, for you are it. It will get at you if you give it a chance. Let go of your attachment to the unreal, and the real will swiftly and smoothly step into its own. Stop imagining yourself being or doing this or that, and the realization that you are the source and heart of all will dawn upon you. With this will come great love, which is not choice or predilection, nor attachment, but a power which makes all things love-worthy and lovable. Chapter 2. Obsession with the Body. Questioner. Maharaj, you are sitting in front of me and I am here at your feet. What is the basic difference between us? Maharaj. There is no basic difference. Questioner. Still there must be some difference. I come to you, you do not come to me. Maharaj. Because you imagine differences. You go here and there in search of superior people. Questioner. You too are a superior person. You claim to know the real while I do not. Maharaj. Did I ever tell you that you do not know, and therefore you are inferior? Let those who invented such distinctions prove them. I do not claim to know what you do not. In fact, I know much less than you do. Questioner. Your words are wise, your behavior noble, your grace all-powerful. Maharaj. I know nothing about it all and see no difference between you and me. My life is a succession of events and just like yours. Only I am detached and see the passing show as a passing show, while you stick to things and move along with them. Questioner. What made you so dispassionate? Maharaj. Nothing in particular. It so happened that I trusted my Guru. He told me I am nothing but myself, and I believed him. Trusting him, I behaved accordingly and ceased caring for what was not me, nor mine. Questioner. Why were you lucky to trust your teacher fully, while our trust is nominal and verbal? Maharaj. Who can say? It happened so. Things happen without cause and reason, and, after all, what does it matter? Who is who? Your high opinion of me is your opinion only. Any moment you may change it. Why attach importance to opinions, even your own? Questioner. Still, you are different. Your mind seems to be always quiet and happy, and miracles happen around you. Maharaj. I know nothing about miracles, and I wonder whether nature admits exceptions to her laws unless we agree that everything is a miracle. As to my mind, there is no such thing. There is consciousness in which everything happens. It is quite obvious and within the experience of everybody. You just do not look carefully enough. Look well and see what I see. Questioner. What do you see? Maharaj. I see what you too could see, here and now, but for the wrong focus of your attention. You give no attention to yourself. Your mind is all with things, people, and ideas, never with yourself. Bring yourself into focus. Become aware of your own existence. See how you function. Watch the motives and the results of your actions. Study the prison you have built around yourself by inadvertence. By knowing what you're not, you come to know yourself. The way back to yourself is through refusal and rejection. One thing is certain. The real is not imaginary. It is not a product of the mind. Even the sense I am is not continuous. Though it is a useful pointer, it shows where to seek, but not what to seek. Just have a good look at it once you are convinced that you cannot say truthfully about yourself anything except I am, and that nothing that can be pointed at can be yourself, the need for the I am is over. You are no longer intent on verbalizing what you are. All you need is to get rid of the tendency to define yourself. All definitions apply to your body only and to its expressions. Once this obsession with the body goes, you will revert to your natural state, spontaneously and effortlessly. The only difference between us is that I am aware of my natural state, while you are bemused. Just like gold made into ornaments has no advantage over gold dust, except when the mind makes it so, so are we in one being. We differ only in appearance. We discover it by being earnest, by searching, inquiring, questioning, daily and hourly, by giving one's life to this discovery. Chapter 3. The Living Present. Questioner. As I can see, there is nothing wrong with my body, nor with my real being. Both are not of my making and need not be improved upon. What has gone wrong is the inner body, call it mind, consciousness, antahkarana, whatever the name. Maharaj, what do you consider to be wrong with your mind? Questioner. It is restless, greedy of the pleasant and afraid of the unpleasant. Maharaj, what is wrong with it seeking the pleasant and shirking the unpleasant? Between the banks of pain and pleasure, the river of life flows. It is only when the mind refuses to flow with life and gets stuck at the banks that it becomes a problem. By flowing with life, I mean acceptance, letting come what comes and go what goes. Desire not, fear not, observe the actual as and when it happens, for you are not what happens, you are to whom it happens. Ultimately, even the observer you are not. You are the ultimate potentiality of which the all-embracing consciousness is the manifestation and expression. Questioner. Yet, between the body and the self there lies a cloud of thoughts and feelings, which neither serve the body nor the self. These thoughts and feelings are flimsy, transient, and meaningless, mere mental dust that blinds and chokes. Yet they are there, obscuring and destroying. Maharaj, surely the memory of an event cannot pass for the event itself, nor can the anticipation. There is something exceptional, unique about the present event, which the previous or the coming do not have. There is a livingness about it, an actuality. It stands out as if illumined. There is the stamp of reality on the actual, which the past and future do not have. Questioner. What gives the present that stamp of reality? Maharaj, there is nothing peculiar in the present event to make it different from the past and future. For a moment, the past was actual and the future will become so. What makes the present so different? Obviously, my presence. I am real, for I am always now, in the present, and what is with me now shares in my reality. The past is in memory, the future in imagination. There is nothing in the present event itself that makes it stand out as real. It may be some simple periodical occurrence, like the striking of the clock. In spite of our knowing that the successive strokes are identical, the present stroke is quite different from the previous one and the next, as remembered or expected. A thing focused in the now is with me, for I am ever present. It is my own reality that I impart to the present event. Questioner. But we deal with things remembered as if they were real. Maharaj, we consider memories only when they come into the present. The forgotten is not counted until one is reminded. which implies bringing into the now. Questioner: yes, I can see there is in the now some unknown factor that gives momentary reality to the transient actuality. Maharaj: you need not say it is unknown, for you see it in constant operation. Since you were born, has it ever changed? Things and thoughts have been changing all the time, but the feeling that what is now is real has never changed, even in dream. Questioner: in deep sleep, there is no experience of the present reality. Maharaj: the blankness of deep sleep is due entirely to the lack of specific memories, but a general memory of well-being is there. There is a difference in feeling when we say, I was deeply asleep, from I was absent. Questioner: we shall repeat the question we began with, between life's source and life's expression, which is the body. There is the mind and its ever-changeful states. The stream of mental states is endless, meaningless, and painful. Pain is the constant factor. What we call pleasure is but a gap, an interval between two painful states. Desire and fear are the weft and warp of living, and both are made of pain. Our question is, can there be a happy mind? Maharaj: desire is the memory of pleasure, and fear is the memory of pain. Both make the mind restless. Moments of pleasure are merely gaps in the stream of pain. How can the mind be happy? Questioner: that is true when we desire pleasure or expect pain. But there are moments of unexpected, unanticipated joy, pure joy, uncontaminated by desire, unsought, undeserved, God-given. Maharaj: still, joy is joy, only against a background of pain. Questioner: is pain a cosmic fact or purely mental? Maharaj: the universe is complete, and where there is completeness, where nothing lacks, what can give pain? Questioner: the universe may be complete as a whole, but incomplete in details. Maharaj: a part of the whole seen in relation to the whole is also complete. Only when seen in isolation it becomes deficient and thus a seat of pain. What makes for isolation? Questioner: limitations of the mind, of course. The mind cannot see the whole for the part. Maharaj: good enough. The mind, by its very nature, divides and opposes. Can there be some other mind which unites and harmonizes, which sees the whole in the part and the part as totally related to the whole? Questioner: the other mind, where to look for it? Maharaj: in the going beyond the limiting, dividing and opposing mind, in ending the mental process as we know it. When this comes to an end, that mind is born. Questioner: in that mind, the problem of joy and sorrow exists no longer? Maharaj: not as we know them, as desirable or repugnant. It becomes rather a question of love seeking expression and meeting with obstacles. Inclusive mind is love in action, battling against circumstances, initially frustrated, ultimately victorious. Questioner: between the spirit and the body, is it love that provides the bridge? Maharaj: what else? Mind creates the abyss. The heart crosses it. Chapter 4. Real world is beyond the mind. Questioner: on several occasions the question has been raised as to whether the universe is subject to the law of causation, or does it exist and function outside the law? You seem to hold the view that it is uncaused, that everything, however small, is uncaused, arising and disappearing for no known reason whatsoever. Maharaj, causation means succession in time of events and space, the space being physical or mental. Time, space, causation are mental categories, arising and subsiding with the mind. Questioner, as long as the mind operates, causation is a valid law? Maharaj, like everything mental, the so-called law of causation contradicts itself. No thing in existence has a particular cause. The entire universe contributes to the existence of even the smallest thing. Nothing could be as it is without the universe being what it is. When the source and the ground of everything is the only cause of everything, to speak of causality as a universal law is wrong. The universe is not bound by its content because its potentialities are infinite. Besides, it is a manifestation or expression of a principle fundamentally and totally free. Questioner, yes, one can see that ultimately to speak of one thing being the only cause of another thing is altogether wrong. Yet, in actual life, we invariably initiate action with a view to a result. Maharaj, yes, there is a lot of such activity going on because of ignorance. Would people know that nothing can happen unless the entire universe makes it happen? They would but achieve much more with less expenditure of energy. Questioner, if everything is an expression of the totality of causes, how can we talk of a purposeful action towards an achievement? Maharaj, the very urge to achieve is also an expression of the total universe. It merely shows that the energy potential has risen at a particular point. It is the illusion of time that makes you talk of causality, when the past and the future are seen in the timeless now as parts of a common pattern. The idea of cause-effect loses its validity and creative freedom takes its place. Questioner, yet I cannot see how anything can come to be without a cause. Maharaj, when I say a thing is without a cause, I mean it can be without a particular cause. Your own mother was not needed to give you birth. You could have been born from some other mother, but you could not have been born without the sun and the earth. Even these could not have caused your birth without the most important factor, your own desire to be born. It is desire that gives birth, that gives name and form. The desirable is imagined and wanted and manifests itself as something tangible or conceivable. Thus is created the world in which we live, our personal world. The real world is beyond the mind's ken. We see it through the net of our desires, divided into pleasure and pain, right and wrong, inner and outer. To see the universe as it is, you must step beyond the net. It is not hard to do so, for the net is full of holes. Questioner, what do you mean by holes, and how to find them? Maharaj, look at the net and its many contradictions. Do and undo at every step. You want peace, love, happiness, and work hard to create pain, hatred, and war. You want longevity and overeat. You want friendship and exploit. See your net as made of such contradictions and remove them. Your very seeing them will make them go. Questioner, since my seeing the contradiction makes it go, is there no causal link between my seeing and its going? Maharaj, causality, even as a concept, does not apply to chaos. Questioner, to what extent is desire a causal factor? Maharaj, one of the many. For everything there are innumerable causal factors, but the source of all that is the infinite possibility, the supreme reality, which is in you, and which throws its power and light and love on every experience. But this source is not a cause, and no cause is a source. Because of that, I say everything is uncaused. You may try to trace how a thing happens, but you cannot find out why a thing is as it is. A thing is as it is because the universe is as it is. Chapter 5. What is born must die. Questioner. Is the witness consciousness permanent or not? Maharaj. It is not permanent. The knower rises and sets with the known. That in which both the knower and the known arise and set is beyond time. The words permanent or eternal do not apply. Questioner. In sleep, there is neither the known nor the knower. What keeps the body sensitive and receptive? Maharaj. Surely you cannot say the knower was absent. The experience of things and thought was not there. That is all. But the absence of experience too is experience. It is like entering a dark room and saying, I see nothing. A man blind from birth knows not what darkness means. Similarly, only the knower knows that he does not know. Sleep is merely a lapse in memory. Life goes on. Questioner. And what is death? Maharaj. It is a change in the living process of a particular body. Integration ends and disintegration sets in. Questioner. But what about the knower? With the disappearance of the body, does the knower disappear? Maharaj. Just as the knower of the body appears at birth, so he disappears at death. Questioner. And nothing remains? Maharaj. Life remains. Consciousness needs a vehicle and an instrument for its manifestation. When life produces another body, another knower comes into being. Questioner. Is there a causal link between the successive body knowers or body minds? Maharaj. Yes. There is something that may be called the memory body or causal body, a record of all that was thought, wanted and done. It is like a cloud of images held together. Questioner. What is this sense of a separate existence? Maharaj. It is a reflection in a separate body of the one reality. In this reflection, the unlimited and the limited are confused and taken to be the same. To undo this confusion is the purpose of yoga. Questioner. Does not death undo this confusion? Maharaj. In death, only the body dies. Life does not. Consciousness does not. Reality does not. And the life is never so alive as after death. Questioner. But does one get reborn? Maharaj. What was born must die. Only the unborn is deathless. Find what is it that never sleeps and never wakes, and whose pale reflection is our sense of I. Questioner. How am I to go about this finding out? Maharaj. How do you go about finding anything? By keeping your mind and heart on it. Interest there must be and steady remembrance. To remember what needs to be remembered is the secret of success. You come to it through earnestness. Questioner. Do you mean to say that the mere wanting to find out is enough? Surely both qualifications and opportunities are needed. Maharaj. These will come with earnestness. What is supremely important is to be free from contradictions. The goal and the way must not be on different levels. Life and light must not quarrel. Behavior must not betray belief. Call it honesty, integrity, wholeness. You must not go back, undo, uproot, abandon the conquered ground. Tenacity of purpose and honesty in pursuit will bring you to your goal. Questioner. Tenacity and honesty are endowments, surely? Not a trace of them have I. Maharaj. All will come as you go on. Take the first step. All blessings come from within. Turn within. I am, Be with it all the time you can spare, until you revert to it spontaneously. There is no simpler and easier way.